I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are.
Welcome to another episode of Facts Over Feelings, where we cut through the noise and get to the truth, no matter how inconvenient. I'm your host, Hollywood Morris, and today we're diving into the story that's got the internet buzzing, and for good reason. Indianapolis Police Chief Chris Bailey went viral this weekend after laying down some hard truths about a mass shooting in downtown Indy that left 2 teenagers dead and 5 others wounded. 7 victims, all between the ages of 15 and 21, caught in a senseless act of violence during the 4th of July celebration. Chief Bailey didn't hold back, calling out parents and guardians for failing to supervise their kids. And I'm here to show him support for speaking truth to power. Let's check it out.
This kind of violence, whether downtown or any of our neighborhoods, is completely unacceptable and unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thousands of people came downtown tonight, enjoyed the fireworks, and went home. Thousands more chose to come down here and all night cause trouble. I was down here until about 12:30 tonight. I worked with my officers, took the runs with them, dealt with the disturbances, dealt with the utter disrespect for our city, for our laws, and for law enforcement. Hundreds of unsupervised kids down here. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are. And parents and guardians have got to step up. A kid is dead tonight. And we just don't know the age of the young man down the street, still here, dead. He looks young. It's unacceptable. The police department all night long went from place to place to place, trying to prevent these kind of things.
So on July 4th, at around 1:30 a.m., chaos erupted near Washington and Illinois streets in downtown Indianapolis. IMPD officers already dealing with disturbances heard gunfire and rushed to the scene. And what they found was heartbreaking. 6 people shot, 1 dead on the spot, and tragically 1 died later. This wasn't just a shooting. It was a symptom of a deeper rot.
We made almost, probably, well, we're still tallying them, about 20 arrests tonight.
Over 20 arrests were made, but let's be real. That's a drop in the bucket when you count hundreds of teens acting like they own the streets and these infamous teen takeovers. Now, before we go further, let's break down something important, and that's the difference between a county sheriff and a city police chief like Chief Chris Bailey, because it matters when we talk about who's willing to speak the truth. You see, a sheriff is elected by the people and he answers directly to the voters. They've got to face the public every election cycle, which keeps them grounded in what the community actually wants: safety, accountability, results. A police chief, on the other hand, is appointed usually by a mayor or city council. And in blue cities like Indianapolis, that's often a liberal mayor pushing woke policies that tie the hands of law enforcement. And too many police chiefs are handpicked by these mayors to go along with soft on crime nonsense, defunding the police, ignoring curfews, or letting repeat offenders walk free because they're afraid of losing their jobs if they step out of line. And they won't call out the real problems, especially in the communities where violence is concentrated. Communities full of people who look like me. And that's exactly who were causing those problems in Indianapolis this past weekend. And you know why? Because speaking out risks getting them canceled or fired by the same politicians who appointed them. And that's why I respect Chief Bailey, because from what he said, he's trying to be an exception, not the rule. Because let me keep it real, he's risking all by saying what needs to be said. Parents, step up, or kids will keep dying. And I love the fact that Chief Bailey didn't just stop at parents. He painted a picture of a city that is almost under siege, not by some external threat, but by its own failures to hold people accountable. And this wasn't an isolated incident. It's a pattern. In March 2024, 7 teens were shot in nearly the exact same spot. And what's changed? Not enough. Because the people who are calling the shots don't live there. They live in gated communities with private security. And the ones who look like me, along with their white liberal comrades, can't wait to jump in front of the camera every chance they get and blame systemic racism and white supremacy, while constantly selling out the communities that they claim to care about.
If you want to engage them, if you want to help them, you want to prevent some of this violence, this is where they are. Here, they're here. Come down. I invite all of those who think that I'm exaggerating this or that I'm saying just because it's downtown. No, nowhere else in the city is this concentration of people in one small area, less than a half a mile. Come down and see for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. This is not our job to do this. It is unnecessary. You don't have to act like this.
Because this man is fed up, and so are we. He's calling out the real issues. Parents that let their kids roam free at 1 a.m. armed and aimless. This man is asking for accountability, for guardians and parents to step up. And yet, what do we hear from the left? The same tired excuses. Oh, these kids don't have anything to do. They need safe spaces. It's systemic racism. Give me a damn break. When I was 16 years old and I was bored, you know what I did? Start writing scripts for movies that I wanted to make. We didn't always have a basketball goal. We made up our own games. We stayed at home. We read books. We wrote songs. I didn't grab a gun and head to downtown Fort Lauderdale to wreak havoc. And the biggest reason is because my father lived in the home. He was the head of the family, and he let it be known what was going to be tolerated and what was not. And this was not a deacon. This was not a pastor. And a lot of incidents, my dad was not a law-abiding citizen, but he made it crystal clear that his son was not going to follow that path. So this isn't about boredom. This is about a culture of no consequences fueled by decades of liberal policies that coddle criminals and enable broken homes. Hell, they design and desire broken homes. You don't believe me? Do you think Indianapolis is unique? Chicago this past weekend was even worse. We can keep going on and on with the list of these dysfunctional blue cities. And they all have some very serious things in common. And me being the guy that worked for a lot of people that ran and got elected in the office and seeing what goes on behind the scenes is why I live in the Ocala National Forest today. Get out. These Democrats and their allies love to scream racism every day and every time a cop tries to do their job. But they're just as silent as a church mouse when it comes to the real damage their policies have done and are continuing to do. These welfare programs that in the past couple of weeks, people are crashing out because they may be cut off from. These dysfunctional programs that disincentivize two-parent households have gutted the family structure in black communities.
Somebody else was not playing, it just happened. Honestly, I like to okay? We being realistic here. I like to and it just happened.
And since the 1960s, single-parent homes have skyrocketed. Today, over 70% of black kids grow up without a father in the house. That's not racism. That's a public policy failure. And I've done too much research and met with too many people that were behind the scenes to come away with any other conclusion than this was intentional. Moynihan warned about this 60 years ago. It is no different 6 decades later. They do what any other cultural Marxists do. When they get exposed, they go underground for a couple of years and then they come back up with the same failed demonic policies under a new name with new characters leading the chant. Think about what you saw 5 years ago with the push to defund the police, to weaken bail laws, and to treat juvenile offenders with kid gloves. And you get just what we saw in Indy. Kids with guns, no supervision, and no fear of consequences.
Recovered guns that I know of before this happened from 2 kids. One of them was an assault rifle stuffed in the front of his pants. Heck, look to your left. You're still going to see some people that probably shouldn't be out here right now, lingering, not going to restaurants, didn't come down here to see the fireworks, shooting fireworks off at our community from the top of parking garages. And I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it.
Preach, Chief.
You should be tired of it.
He's not the only one who's tired. He's speaking for every law-abiding citizen who's sick of seeing their cities turned into war zones. His viral moment isn't just about one shooting. It's a wake-up call. He's saying what too many are afraid to. This violence, concentrated in certain communities, most of which are black, isn't the police's fault. And this is facts over feelings. So I'm not going to ignore the elephant in the room. A lot of this violence involved black teens, and the left will lose their minds over that truth. And like I said, Indianapolis isn't alone. Every major blue city from Chicago to Philly to Atlanta sees the same pattern. Young, unsupervised kids, often armed, causing chaos.
I know where my kids are at all time. So maybe that's, maybe I shouldn't be that way. 16-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine letting her roam around down here like kids were. Unattended, unsupervised.
And instead of addressing the root causes, broken families, glorified gang culture, and zero accountability, liberals wanted to fund the police and hand out free basketballs.
There is a problem. There is a problem. It's not going to be solved by the police. It's our job to try to keep people safe, and they did it tonight. I watched it with my own eyes. I helped do some of it.
And from what I heard in this video, he's not falling for it. He's had enough. He's calling for parents to know where their kids are and to set proper boundaries, and if necessary, use technology to track them. But if you ran your household with biblical Christian values, they wouldn't be out in the first place. This is basic stuff.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
But when you have a system that rewards dysfunction with welfare checks and slaps on the wrist, then don't be surprised when kids end up dead. We need consequences. These kids don't respect talk. They respect action. Lock their asses up, find the parents, make it hurt. That's how you change behavior. There is a lot of rural farmland outside Indianapolis. There is work for them to do. Put them to work in miserable conditions.
And if I can convince the prosecutor to hold parents accountable, I'm going to do that too.
The real reason why the Chief's video went viral is because he's saying what so many of us are already thinking. Enough is enough. No more excuses. No more blaming the cops for doing their jobs. No more pretending that this is about boredom or racism. It's about accountability, a word that liberals hate. Stop vilifying cops like Chief Bailey, who are out there running toward gunfire to keep us safe.
We keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do? The city's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area with, there was a couple hundred cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job. The city of Indianapolis, government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police.
Chief Bailey, this mic drop is for you. You're not just a hero for speaking out, but for laying it on the line, not staying behind the desk, being out there with the men and women of your police department that are risking your lives to keep the community safe. Your words hit hard because they're true. Indianapolis lost 2 young lives this weekend, and it didn't have to happen. And to the parents out there, you are not called to be your child's friend. You are called to be their parent. Know where your kids are. It's not the police's job to raise them. Grow up. So that's a wrap for this episode of Facts Over Feelings, brought to you by SupportOurShields. If you've been redeemed by the King of Kings, and if you love this nation and the freedom that it brings, then I'm your brother, no matter your color. Remember this, life isn't fair, but God is just. Be blessed.